Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of How to Grow Your Business. Thanks for joining me again. The topic for today is customer acquisition. I'll be frank, if you want to grow your business, then you need to sell more. The simplest way to do this is to sell more of your existing products and services to more customers. But this isn't an easy task, and it's an area where we find a lot of small business owners struggle. A lot of the work we've done so far in this program will help you with today's lesson. The more effectively you can communicate the value of what you are offering, the more likely you are to attract the right type of customers. Now let's take a closer look at the customer acquisition process.
Alright everybody, welcome to day 5. One of the fastest ways to grow any business is to increase sales of existing products or services. It's also the lowest risk growth strategy. Because the product or service already exists, there is little financial investment that needs to be made. To grow your business, you just need to find more customers. So how do you do that? Where and how we do business has changed dramatically over the last 5 to 10 years. Advancements in technology have fundamentally altered the way a business interacts with potential customers. Today's consumer is so much better informed. Customers today want to make informed purchase decisions and react negatively to pushy sales tactics. Some of the work we've already done will help you with this. You have a clearly defined value proposition and a clear understanding of the segments of the market that will most benefit from your product or service. Now it's time to think about the processes you use to communicate your value proposition. We'll start by looking at the 3 steps in the customer acquisition process, and these steps apply to any business. The steps are awareness, research and evaluation, and finally the purchase decision. Step 3 is up to the customer. Let's take a more in-depth look at steps 1 and 2. The first step in the customer relationship process is awareness. This is when a potential customer speculates that your company has a product or service they may wish to purchase. This cuts to the core of your company's growth strategy. Having a great product or service is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't mean much if potential customers don't know about you. When we sit down with a client, one of the first things we look at is the strategies the business is using to attract potential clients. By the time we finish this discussion, there's usually a fairly long list of things the business wants to do differently. One of the reasons for this is that there are so many different tools a company can use to raise awareness, such as in-person conversations, websites, social media, print and online advertising, conferences, trade shows, networking sessions, stories in the news media, good old word of mouth, and all sorts of other activities. Knowing that every company has finite resources, you need to make sure that you're making the best use of these tools. You also need to understand that raising awareness is a process. It's not a one-time event. If you want to grow sales, you need to pay close attention to the strategies you're using to attract potential customers and make sure that your message is reaching your target markets. When working with our clients, we ask questions like, how are you currently raising awareness, and which strategies work the best? A good way to answer that question is to determine what tools or combination of tools brought you your best customers. If you don't know, ask. A happy customer will gladly tell you. Another useful exercise is to see what you can learn from the competition or companies similar to yours operating in different parts of the world. How are they attracting customers? You'd be amazed at what you can learn by looking at what other people are doing. Step 2 in the customer acquisition process is the point in time when a potential customer is trying to decide if they want to do business with you. This is the research and evaluation stage. At the highest level, there are 2 different ways a potential customer gets information about your company: independent research and direct communication. Let's start by looking at independent research. In today's world, a lot of customer research is done independently. You may never know the customer is thinking about doing business with you. The fact-finding is most often done online, but that doesn't mean you don't have any control over the process. It can, and usually does, involve visits to your website and social media sites. I can't stress enough the importance of taking a good hard look at the information you communicate online. It's really important to stay on message. This is why you've created a customer value proposition. Customers need to understand what you do, who you do it for, and how they can benefit from doing business with you. Evaluating your messaging can be a really hard thing to do. No one will ever understand your company or your products and services better than you do. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you think about it all the time. The problem is that words that make sense to you may not mean the same thing to potential customers, so don't be afraid to get outside advice. You can work with a business coach or just ask a fellow entrepreneur to take an independent look at things, and always look for opportunities to get feedback from customers. At the end of the day, your goal is to ensure that you clearly communicate your value proposition and give customers the information they need to take the next step. This may mean they're ready to place an order. In other cases, it means they're ready to directly communicate with you or your team. Direct communication. You or someone on your team is now communicating directly with a potential customer. This could be a visit to your location or store, a trip to the client location, or some other form of communication such as phone conversation, Skype, or an online chat. So now what? Most businesses spend a great deal of money trying to get in direct contact with potential customers. Then they drop the ball by going into a sales pitch. Your job is not to sell. Your job is to help potential customers make an informed decision about your products or services. To do that, you need information from your customer. That's why you, and any member of your team that interacts with customers, need to be trained to ask questions, and everyone needs to know what questions to ask. For today's homework assignment, we want you to take a step back and audit your customer acquisition process by answering 4 questions. How do potential customers find you? What actions could you take to raise awareness? Are you giving potential customers the information they need to make an informed purchase decision? What questions should you ask potential customers before discussing how you can help them? That's it for today. For more tools and resources, check out our website, stratigro.ca. And of course, if you'd like to join our community, like us on Facebook. Thanks again for joining me today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about growing your business through new product development. See you then!